Welcome to the Boomtown Hoops postgame show. I'm Bobby Howard, and I am riding solo this time, back in the saddle, hanging out with y'all. The Thunder, they broke the losing streak a couple games ago, but you know what? The tank rolls on. The Pelicans take out Oklahoma City 109-95. And what can you say about this game other than just the Pelicans just had more weapons? Maybe not more weapons, but like they had the bigger guns. Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, just remarkable. 27 and 24, respectively for the two. They just got what they wanted. The Thunder played this game really close. You got to give it up to them. They fought very, very hard. Lou Dort, 17 points. Baisley had a solid night with 15, and Maladone with a very, very solid 16 as well. But at the end of the day, that Pelicans firepower just kind of pushed them ahead. And it's just what you've seen most of these nights where the Thunder just don't have enough guns to get it done to finish down the stretch, and that's fine. That's who this team is. I will say this game was more interesting than others because we did get the arrival of Gabriel Deck from Real Madrid. He doesn't. To be fair, look, the guy was cooped up in the cold herd for like a week straight, and then we stroll him out and have him guard Zion Williamson. Like a month ago, this guy was playing in the EuroLeague playoffs, and now we're sticking him out against one of the, honestly, other than LeBron, the biggest, just freak of nature in the league. Only 2 points for the guy. Had a really cool assist where he kind of tucked it behind his back. So not like a great introduction, but again, no training camp. He just showed up here from Madrid. I'll take it. But other than that, it's really just been kind of a basic day for the Thunder. Just another loss. Isaiah Roby with a solid 13 points. I will say for a power forward, the guy looks really good, like controlling the basketball and really driving in. It is remarkable to see, I will say. I think I mentioned that on Twitter. Daignault is absolutely hazing Gabriel Deck, throwing him out there. The guy, I don't even think they fit him for his jersey right. It looked a little baggy out there. Maybe that's what he likes, but he just kind of looked awkward out there. It was night one for him. And night one, having to go up against Zion Williamson when we're playing in the EuroLeague. No offense to the EuroLeague. Great league. The second best basketball league in the entire world. That's still a very drastic comparison. Hey, we got a little Baisley mania. Okay, yeah, Argentina, what's up? I love it. Yeah, the Argentinian flag. That's awesome. Big night for Argentina. From how I understand it, Gabriel Deck, very, very big over there, will make a massive impact in the upcoming Olympics. From what I've heard, Kobe loved the guy. I love to have him on board. And I'll say this if you're a Thunder fan and you're like, we're looking forward to this guy, you're like, what's going on? He was 0 for 3 from 3, he only had 2 points. Again, the guy was stuffed in a hotel for like a week. You can't expect much out of the guy. I'm happy to have him on board. I'm really excited to see what he has to do. But really, if he does anything that impresses me these last, I guess, 9 games, that's a huge win for me because again, the guy has had no G League, no Summer League, no anything, no training camp. Can't expect much. Yeah, I don't know the Baisley. Sorry about that. OKC Argentina 0. I don't know why the Baisley Mania 7 showed up. But I've seen you around Twitter. It's really good to have Argentina on our side after all of those years of dealing with Ginobili. I will never forget that Ginobili play against us. Game 6, Tim Duncan set a really frustrating screen. It was definitely offensive off-ball foul. Ginobili drains a 3. It just I'm saying poor Derek Fisher deserves much better than that. Yeah, Wash, shout out International Boomtown for sure. I love it. I love the international spread of Oklahoma City right now. Like, if you look at this roster, so many of our we don't have a lot of Americans, and I love it. I really truly love it. It's really cool to me how Presti's been working outside the box, really expanding the game of basketball. And as someone who grew up in Oklahoma City, and like, it was weird to me whenever we saw like Canadian minor league teams come to town. Like, oh wow, they know what Oklahoma City is. It's just awesome to have fans around the world like know what Oklahoma City is and root for their players out here. I really do love it. Really do love it. Yeah. Prayer hands based to OKC Argentina. Mystics. These podcasts, really less podcasts, more little post game video shows. We do run them after every game. Anyways, let's talk a little bit more about this game. So, I mean, what can you say? It was really just kind of a gross game for OKC. Couldn't really... I mean, they just kind of tagged along. Not really a lot you can do against Zion and Brandon Ingram. Willie Hernan-Gomez, pretty solid game with 13 points, 10 rebounds. Got to shout out Moses Brown, by the way. Did not do much on the scoring end, but 18 rebounds is insane. That's awesome. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, Wash, I agree with you. Ginobili as an OKC fan, that's a heel turn, a reverse heel turn I never expected. I definitely didn't like the guy. And it was no offense to Ginobili. I love the player, but man, it was so annoying going up against him in all of those San Antonio series. So it's awesome to have him on our side. I'd much rather have him on our side than playing against him. Yeah, I am so sorry, y'all. There is just not a lot to talk about with this one. It was just one of those games where the Thunder kind of trailed behind. Dort really picked up at the end. I really like the way he's been scoring when he's given the reins. Really bad Poku night. I wish Sean was out here to trash on poor Poku, because 3 for 16, only 8 points. He did have a +3, but the guy just wasn't going to get done against a big team like the Pelicans. With that size, it bothers him more than it would your random average team. And I got to say, this Pelicans team, what are you doing? 28-35 with this roster? With this young roster, like the Thunder, imagine what Daignault and the Thunder could do with this roster. It would be, I guarantee you they'd be in the play-in at least. No offense to Stan Van Gundy, I think he's just not the right coach for this team at all. And that just shows. They just aren't a great team. But let's be honest. We're really looking at this for the tank. We're in the final stretch. 9 games left. And today could have been a pretty good tank game. The Detroit Pistons tried their best to get involved in the tank, but once again fell in Mavericks 115-105. That was a big bummer because they once again almost did it. Timberwolves got a win, so good on the T-Wolves. That's surprising. Will Andrews over here. Do we move to the second worst record? That's a good question. I think it's probably too far at this point, mainly because the Orlando Magic are just purely great at tanking. Let's pull up Tankathon. Take a look-see. Because I think it's possible. I think it's doubtful. It's possible, but I would also say it's very doubtful because they're just teams that are flat out tanking harder than we can. All right, so let's take a look. All right, so right now as it stands, Thunder sit at 5th. Cleveland does have a game behind us, so they're right on our trail for 5th worst in the league. But I gotta say, Minnesota winning the way they have has been a surprising but very nice trend. But I just have a feeling that Orlando and Detroit are just going to be so bad that there's no way to crack that much awfulness that they've been throwing our way. And I mean, we are only like what one and a half games behind third. You know, we're 2 full games behind second. It can be done, but at this stage in the season, it's just a lot of ground to cover and not a lot of time. I certainly hope it will happen. Mystics. Lou Dort is involved more and more at this point. Does he stand? Basically, is he a potential franchise player? You know, like, I gotta say, every time I watch Lou Dort, my expectations on him change. He's a guy that I wasn't fully sure if he was just a flash in the pan last year, and then he goes out, dominates Harden in the playoffs, you know, drops that 30-point game out of nowhere. I'm like, wow, that was wild. Then this year, every time he just gets better every time I see him. So I personally, I'm not in the business of doubting Lou Dort anymore. I'm also not going to project him to be a franchise type of player. He's a guy Oklahoma City wants to keep around a long time, and they have him locked down under a impossibly small contract. So maybe not like, you know, a big 3 type of guy. I could see him doing that because he has gone leaps and bounds in directions I never thought he would in such a short time. He hasn't played full rookie season yet. His offense, yeah, Wash brings up a good point. His offensive effort has cost his defense a bit, and that's a good point. I really don't think that's where you want Lou to be. You don't want him to be the main guy. I think that's bad for Lou. I think that's bad for whatever team has Lou, because you know Lou has been surprisingly good in that role, but that's not his role. You want him to provide offense when you need it in the position. You want him to provide offense when he can in a situational situation. You don't want him to be the guy who takes it up every time. That's why we have Shea. That's why we are trying to get a guy like Cade Cunningham or Jalen Suggs that can take that offensive load off him, because the fact that he can even do that on offense is such a wonder. But that's so much effort to do both ways that I would prefer him putting most of his energy on defense and coming up in big moments on offense when we need him. So I agree with that, Wash. That's really, really, yeah. I think he could be a really good third option on a good team. I think he could be a great 4th option on an NBA Finals team. And that's not a bad thing. I like Dort a lot. I think a realistic thing for him is like that weird kind of 4th guy, an Andre Iguodala, who can like kind of pop in and, you know, make a big shot, make a good defensive play. You know, I think that is Dort's ceiling, which is huge because this time last year we were saying like his like ultimate ceiling might be Marcus Smart, and from what we saw the other night, I honestly think his ceiling is clearly way higher than Smart on the offensive end. I also miss Deontay Burton. Love my guy, Big Booty Burton. Miss him, miss you, Burton. But hey, we have Tankathon up. Let's sim the lottery. Always fun. Let's hope we get something good. We haven't gotten anything great so far whenever we sim. So, Cleveland at 1. Do they really need more number 1 picks? Do they really? I feel like every time I go on Tankathon, I usually get Cleveland 1 in one of my sims. And I hate it. Do they why do they need more number 1 picks? They got their championship. They got LeBron back. What are we doing here, Tankathon? Golden State up to 4 is also absolutely crushing, with Golden State getting 6 as well. That's a really bad sim. That leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. I kind of want to do another one. I don't want to break the rules because you do have. I want to do one a night every time we do one of these. I don't want to just roll until we get a perfect one, but Man, this is doomsday right here. Golden State getting all the luck. We got to do one more. We got to do one more. Nobody wants to see Cleveland and Golden State win more. And if that's slightly better, but still Cleveland at 2, Toronto at 1, Minnesota. I don't know. As the lottery draws closer, I get more and more nervous. That's gonna be a nervous night. I will say that'll be a fun show though. Getting everyone together watching the lottery, having all of y'all here. We're gonna experience this ride together, just like we did this entire season. So, well, that's all I gotta say. Just a very lackluster Thunder game. Very proud of them for sticking in with it. But next up, Saturday night against the Indiana Pacers. We probably are out, as that is the first night of a back-to-back, and we usually go with the second night of a back-to-back in terms of shows. But, yeah, it's the Pacers. So, I will say about the Pacers, I don't think anyone's really debating the whole who won the Oladipo trade thing anymore. It was the Thunder. So, anyways, thank y'all so much for joining us. It's always fun hanging out with y'all. Not the best game to talk about, but you know what? That's how the season's gone. So, y'all have a good rest of your night. Thunder up.